Buckhead is the uptown commercial and residential district of the city of Atlanta, Georgia, comprising approximately the northernmost fifth of the city. Buckhead is the third largest business district within the Atlanta city limits, behind downtown and midtown, a major commercial and financial center. Buckhead is anchored by a core of high-rise office buildings, hotels, shopping centers, restaurants, and condominiums centered around the intersection of Peachtree Road and Piedmont Road near Georgia State Route 400, the Buckhead MARTA station, and Lenox Square. In 1838, Henry Irby purchased 202 acres surrounding the present intersection of Peachtree, Roswell, and West Paces Ferry roads from Daniel Johnson for $650. Irby subsequently established a general store and tavern at the northwest corner of the intersection. The name Buckhead comes from a story that Irby killed a large buck deer and placed the head in a prominent location. Prior to this, the settlement was called Irbyville. By the late 1800s, Buckhead had become a rural vacation spot for wealthy Atlantans. In the 1890s, Buckhead was rechristened Atlanta Heights, but by the 1920s, it was again Buckhead. Buckhead remained dominated by country estates until after World War I, when many of Atlanta's wealthy began building mansions among the area's rolling hills. Simultaneously, a number of black enclaves began popping up in Buckhead. Following events like the 1906 Atlanta race riot and the Great Atlanta Fire of 1917, which drove black residents from the city center. Predominantly black neighborhoods within Buckhead included Johnsontown, Piney Grove, Savagetown, and Macedonia Park. Despite the stock market crash of 1929, lavish mansions were still constructed in Buckhead throughout the Great Depression. In 1930, Henry Aaron Alexander built one of the largest homes on Peachtree Road, a 15,000 square foot house with 33 rooms and 13 bathrooms. During the mid-1940s, Fulton County decided to acquire the land comprising Macedonia Park to build what is now Frankie Allen Park. This process, which entailed both eminent domain and outright coercion, displaced over 400 families. During the mid-1940s, Atlanta Mayor William Hartsfield sought to annex Buckhead and a number of other predominantly white suburbs of Atlanta, fearing that the city's Negro population is growing by leaps and bounds and was taking more white territory inside Atlanta. Hartsfield sought to annex these communities to counteract the threat of increasing political power for the city's black residents. The annexation of Buckhead was put to a vote in 1947, but it was rejected by Buckhead voters. Atlanta annexed Buckhead and a number of other nearby communities in 1952, following legislature which expanded Atlanta's city boundaries. In 1956, an estate known as Joyous was chosen as the site for a major shopping center to be known as Lenox Square. The mall was designed by Joe Amisano, an architect who designed many of Atlanta's modernist buildings. When Lenox Square opened in 1959, it was one of the first malls in the country and the largest shopping center in the southeastern U.S. Office development soon followed with the construction of Tower Place in 1974. Many bars and clubs catered mostly to the black community in the Atlanta area became renowned as a party spot for Atlanta area rappers and singers, including Outkast, Jazz Fa, Jagged Edge, Usher, and Jermaine Dupri, who mentioned the neighborhood's clubs on his song, Welcome to Atlanta. Following the events of the Ray Lewis murder case in Buckhead on the night of the 2000 Super Bowl held in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome, as well as a series of murders involving the Black Mafia family, residents sought to ameliorate crime by taking measures to reduce the community's nightlife and re-establish a more residential character. The Buckhead Coalition's president and former Atlanta Mayor Sam Massel, along with Councilwoman Mary Norwood, were instrumental in persuading the Atlanta City Council to pass a local ordinance to close bars at 2:30 a.m. rather than 4 a.m., and liquor licenses were made more difficult to obtain. Eventually, most of the Buckhead Village nightlife district was acquired for the Buckhead Atlanta multi-use project. In 2008, A newsletter by the Fulton County Taxpayers Foundation began circulating that proposed the secession of Buckhead into its own city after more than 50 years as part of Atlanta. This came on the heels of neighboring Sandy Springs, which finally became a city in late 2005 after a 30-year struggle to incorporate, and which triggered other such incorporations in Metro Atlanta's northern suburbs. Like those cities, the argument to create a city of Buckhead is based on the desire for more local control and lower taxes. Discussions revolving around potential secession from Atlanta were revived in late 2021, with proponents of secession arguing that splitting from Atlanta would enable Buckhead to better tackle crime in the area. Buckhead, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Atlanta, would deprive the city of 38% of its tax revenue if it seceded. Political scientists and journalists have also highlighted that Buckhead is significantly more conservative and white than the rest of Atlanta. Commentators have also noted that this secession attempt is more serious than earlier efforts, due to polling data showing 54% to 70% of Buckhead's residents favor the move, and due to pro-secession organizations raising nearly $1 million to promote the split. A referendum did not occur in 2022 or early 2023, as the Georgia General Assembly tabled the bills that would have provided for this referendum during the 2022 legislative session. Buckhead comprises most of the neighborhoods of Atlanta's North Side. Since at least the 1950s, Buckhead has been known as a district of extreme wealth, with the western and northern neighborhoods being virtually unrivaled in the southeast. In 2011, the Gadberry Group compiled the list of the 50 wealthiest zip codes in the United States, ranking Buckhead's western zip code 30327 as the second wealthiest zip code in the South, behind Palm Beaches, and the second wealthiest zip code east of California and south of Virginia. The average household income is $280,631, with an average household net worth of $1,353,189. These 2011 figures are up from a similar 2005 study that pegged Buckhead as the wealthiest community in the South and the only settlement south of the Washington, D.C. suburb of Great Falls, and east of the Phoenix suburb of Paradise Valley, to be among the 50 wealthiest communities in the country. However, according to Forbes magazine, 30327 is the 9th wealthiest zip code in the nation, with a household income in excess of $341,000. The Robb Report magazine has consistently ranked Buckhead one of the nation's 10 top affluent communities, due to the most beautiful mansions, best shopping, and finest restaurants in the southeastern United States. Due to its wealth, Buckhead is sometimes promoted as the Beverly Hills of the East or Beverly Hills of the South, in reference to Beverly Hills, California, an area to which it is often compared. At the heart of Buckhead, around the intersections of Lenox, Peachtree, and Piedmont roads, is a shopping district with more than 1,500 retail units, where shoppers spend more than $3 billion a year. In addition, Buckhead contains the highest concentration of upscale boutiques in the United States. The majority are located at Lenox Square and Phipps Plaza, sister regional malls located diagonally across from each other at the intersection of Peachtree and Lenox roads. The malls are home to designer boutiques, mainstream national retailers, as well as 6 major department stores. The Buckhead Atlanta mixed-use development brought even more exclusive boutiques, restaurants, hotels, condos, and office space to the heart of Buckhead. In 2014, the name of the project was rebranded as Buckhead Atlanta. Buckhead is also a center for healthcare and is home both to Piedmont Hospital and the private catastrophic care hospital Shepherd Center, which specializes in spinal cord injury and acquired brain injury. The two hospitals are located adjacent to one another along Peachtree Road. Buckhead is also the location of a large share of Atlanta's diplomatic missions. Consulates in Buckhead include the Consulate General of Australia and the Australian Trade Commission, the Consulate General of France and the French Trade Commission, the Consulate General of Brazil, the Consulate General of Japan, and the Consulate of Greece. Today, Buckhead has over 50 high-rise buildings, almost one-third of the city's total. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more informative content.